What's happening, everyone? My name is James Lynch, and this is the Fanatics View Hockey Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, post them in the chat. I'll get to every single one of them I can. We got a lot to get into. The Edmonton Oilers are still alive, getting a win last night over the Florida Panthers 5-3. I'm sure you saw the game. I'm sure you saw the highlights. We'll go over that. We'll go over some of the content that was posted on this channel overnight from that game. We'll also talk a little bit of free agency, some trade rumors, all types of stuff. There's a lot going on in the world of the NHL right now. Happy to get you through it. Before we get into everything, though, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Really does help out the algorithm a lot when it comes to this channel and everything else. Hope you guys are doing well. I'll be honest, after Thursday, I should say, I thought the Oilers were done. The Panthers took a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. Oilers, they showed some life. I mean, especially that game one, right, where they outshot them. But I just thought, okay, Florida's got this. And then Bobrovsky has an absolute meltdown on Saturday night. The Oilers get a huge win. And now the Oilers win again last night, and we got ourselves a series. Can the Oilers do it? Can they come back and win this series after being down 3-0? It's been only done twice in NHL history, is my understanding. I think one was the Wings and one was the Leafs, way back in the 40s, way back before there was ever anything close to the internet. So it'll be interesting to see if the Oilers are able to do it. Game 6 going down in Edmonton on, I believe it's Friday. Could be wrong about that, but I'll have to go check that out. So hope you guys are all doing well. As we always do on this show, let's go take a look at some of the content that was posted on this channel last night. My guy Taylor working around the clock to give you guys the best content. So you can see here, and this is, I love how he does this, is they take all the post-game stuff and put it into one clip. Because honestly, like if you're like me and you're watching post-game stuff, usually you're clicking on different, you want to hear from everyone. So Taylor, 20 minutes worth of Oilers post-game stuff, which is awesome. Even isolated a Stuart Skinner post-game as well. And isolated the McDavid and Hyman as well. So just putting all three together. Paul Maurice, very upset. You can see good thumbnail there for my guy Taylor. Paul Maurice looking like the disappointed dad in that photo after everything that happened yesterday with the Panthers. The Panthers as well. We got some content up here too. So again, make sure you check out the channel. Make sure you check out all the content we're posting on here. Really good stuff there from Taylor. Okay, let's get into everything else. Let's get into the game last night, the score. So it's the Oilers winning 5-3. So right away last night, if you remember, it's the Oilers getting an early goal. And this has been a problem for Florida. They've been getting off to slow starts. The Oilers have been taking advantage, and they end up getting the first goal. And then in the second, they get a number of goals as well. And they go up, actually, I think they were up 3-0 at one point. So yeah, you're just thinking this is a repeat of Saturday's game, right? Because if we go back Saturday, which let's go have a quick look at that. 8-1. I mean, that's a beatdown. In an elimination game like Florida, what are you doing? It's crazy that Florida just let up that much. And it was, the weirdest thing was it was a Bobrovsky performance. Look at this. 16 shots, 11 saves. That's enough to put in the backup. And it's so weird because obviously Bobrovsky was probably the reason they won game one, right? So to see the Panthers just completely melt down like this, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, off night. But then last night they get off to a slow start too, the Panthers. And listen, this was the Connor McDavid game. He took over this series, 2 goals, 2 assists, really looking like the guy that they were paying all this money to, carrying the team on his back. That pass to Corey, or the Corey Perry play, amazing. You got to give credit to McDavid. Without him, I don't know if the Oilers are as dominant as they've been, but yeah, Florida has a lot of gut check, a lot of soul searching after a loss like that last night. Again, going back to Edmonton, they didn't want to do this. They could have won the cup last night. They don't get it done. So Florida's got to go back to the drawing board here. I'm curious to see if Paul Maurice is going to make any changes to the lineup here. How about Oliel on that empty net goal, just kind of hustling back? Someone tweeted that out last night. Got to give it a bit more effort than that in terms of, this is the elimination game, right? So, but you got to give credit to the Oilers. And again, if you look at the shots on net last night, I mean, it was even worse the other night. But look at this. Stuart Skinner, 32 shots, 29 saves. Very good for Stuart Skinner, who, again, I've been very critical of, as have a lot of people. And on the other end, Bobrovsky only making 19 saves. It's just crazy to me that Stuart Skinner is out dueling Bobrovsky at this stage in the series. So I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. Like, back when the Panthers won, I'm like, okay, they got this. And if you even look at the betting lines, I think they were like minus 475. But I think it's anyone's series now, especially going back to Edmonton. They're going to have the crowd on their side. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Panthers are able to adjust. So If you look at, I mean, the only sort of silver lining from last night, Matthew Tkachuk, a goal and an assist. He stepped up in last night's game, but where was everyone else? You know, you look at, and I know guys are banged up, but Carter Verhaeghe, 3 shots, no points. Tarasenko, 4 shots, no points. You know, you've got, you know, Montour getting a sip. Barkov left off the score sheet. Ekblad. Forsling, who was so good in that previous series, didn't really see much of him last night. Sam Reinhart, snake eyes as well. So very curious to see what the Panthers are able to do, if they can get any momentum. I just think the big thing for them is not having those slow starts. Like, you can't be letting in the first goal, and then especially can't be letting a couple goals in that second period. So that's everything we need to know for the Oilers and what they've been able to do. Worried about the Panthers at all? Absolutely. Absolutely worried about the Panthers. Like, last night was better, but even then they were playing catch up. Like, they were down 3-0, and then they would like score a goal, and then Edmonton would score a goal, and it was kind of this back and forth thing. Like, Saturday's game was like concerning. It was just more of like, okay, write-off game. But last night, just the fact that they let in so many goals and Bobrovsky's not at the top of their game. Like, I can only imagine as a team, you're just, you know, you're relying so heavily on your goaltender, someone that has bailed you out like in game 1 and throughout most of the series. And for him to not be at his A game, and then you got to put in a backup who, let's be honest here, Stolarz or whatever his name is, not exactly that experienced. Like, that's like a hit to the jugular here for Florida if Bobrovsky's not playing at his top game. Let me know what you guys think, but I thought Florida played really tight last night. They didn't play, they looked like too worried about losing as opposed to trying to win. So I think that didn't help at all. And I think it's anyone's series right now. I would imagine the Panthers are still going to get it done because the Panthers only have to win one more game. The Oilers have to win 2. You know, you would think out of the 2 games, the Panthers could win at least one of them. But I don't know. It's playoff hockey. Stranger things have happened. Have the Oilers just figured out how to attack Bob, or it's in his own head? I think it's in his own head. I don't think, like, if you look at some of the goals last night, those were not great saves. I don't think it's like they found a weakness, or because if it was that case, then you'd see like a consistency in how they're scoring all their goals. I haven't really seen that at all. What's up, Billy? How you doing? Thanks for joining, as always. Again, keep the questions coming, everyone. We sort of navigate through everything that's going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. By the way, I didn't even realize this, so I'm going to be in Vegas next week. They're doing the draft in Vegas for the NHL. Now, it's I believe the draft is, what day is the draft? I think the draft is Friday and Saturday. So, yeah, I might, like, I don't know if I can go to that. Like, I don't know if you can buy tickets to the draft, if that's the thing. If I can get tickets, 100% I'm going to go see an NHL draft. It's cool because there's going to be players there. As you guys know, I'm a big fan. So for those who don't know, I'm going to be going to cover the UFC card next week, UFC 303. So the fact that the draft is there too is going to be awesome. So really looking forward to that. I found that out yesterday. I kind of forgot the draft was next week. It was the week after. Obviously wouldn't mean anything, but might go have to see what's going on there as far as the drafts. Or maybe I can ask my guy Taylor. Maybe I can get a media credential to the draft as well, since I'm going to be down there. How cool would that be? Talk to my fellow Vancouverite Macklin Celebrini as he's about to get drafted first overall by the Sharks. That would be cool. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get to your questions. Haven't been able to keep up with the series. Are the Oilers coming back? Yes. Is the draft at the Knights Arena? No, because the UFC's there. So they're actually doing the draft at the Sphere, which is cool. So, got to look into that. Good draft class this year. Well, for the most part. Let's get to some other news. This was a big thing that kind of came out of nowhere. Filip Hronek agreeing to terms with the Canucks yesterday. And I try not to make this a totally Canucks show because obviously, that's my team. But let's get the official statement from Alvin. I wanted to look at that. They probably have the quote in here. So Hronek agreeing to an 8-year contract. So what this means for people who might not be familiar, Hronek was an RFA, meaning the Canucks had the option of going to arbitration with him if they couldn't agree to terms. This is big for them because this was a big block that they had to figure out before they could start, figuring out free agency. So those who don't know, Hronek coming in the trade from Detroit. Go back even further. Canucks trade Bo Horvat last year. Get a couple of first-round picks in that. One of those picks they traded to Detroit to get Filip Hronek. And a lot of people at the time criticized the move because they're like, why, you're supposed to be building for the future. Like, what's going on? Why are they getting this defenseman? But they obviously saw something in Hronek that maybe other people didn't see. And here's the thing that I've talked about this so many times on this show. Right shot defensemen are tough to come by. And Filip Hronek, right shot defenseman. Now, And then the other thing is he's very young too. So that's a plus too. So to get a young right shot defenseman, that's like a cornerstone piece of your team. Now, let's call it like it is. Hronek didn't play well in the second half of the season. Didn't even play very well in the playoffs, in my opinion. It was kind of invisible out there. So some people are like, because the terms, let's go over the terms here. The terms are 7.25. So there were reports out there that he was going to get $8 million. Everyone in Vancouver, including myself, were like, no, you can't pay him $8 million. He's had one really good season, and that season, you could argue, was also benefited by playing with Quinn Hughes, who, in my opinion, best defenseman in the league right now. So I think that certainly helped. But so you only really have 1 year sample size, but then they're in this tough spot where it's like, okay, he's young, he's right shot defenseman. Like, I heard people talking about trading Hronek. Like, you would probably only get picks back. And then there's also only the 1 year sample size. Like, to me, you'd have to replace Hronek. How do you do that? Again, right shot defensemen are not easy to find. So anyways, long story short, I like the move. I like the term, 8-year contract. How old's Hronek? I think he's like 25. He is 26. So again, this is the type of framework you want to see on a team trying to, keep their team together. And that is, you sign a young prospect to an 8-year deal, which is the max deal. You get him at a decent term, because remember, the cap's going to go up. So 7.25, I saw some people say overpay. I mean, it could end up being even better value than what he's, because the cap's going to go up. There might be, like, he might play better and then be worth more as 7.25. So what this does is it gives the Canucks at least 3 more years with Hughes and Hronek, because Hughes' deal is up in a few years. You've got your first line decor, like, good to go. And listen, there are some concerns about Hronek's play, but the fact of the matter is he logs a lot of minutes. He helps Quinn Hughes. He makes Quinn Hughes a better player. You don't want to mess with that. That was a big reason the Canucks played well last year, is they had a good defensive structure, and that's something they've been missing for years, basically since they lost Tanev in free agency years ago. They haven't had a good decor. Last year they looked good. This is a big part of it. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of him as a person. He was a little bit snippy at the media day and, answering questions. But look, he's important to this team. And like I said, it's an important asset to have, and it's something that I think, every team needs. You need like a number 2 defenseman, and right shot defenseman at that. So it's very good. I've also heard some people mention about Nikita Zadorov. How does that affect him? I don't think it really affects him that much, because Zadorov's a left shot defenseman. If Zadorov was right shot defenseman, he would have been signed already. Like, no doubt about it. The Canucks would have rolled out the red carpet. The issue that we have with Zadorov, and again, at the time we're doing this, he is not re-signed to the Canucks. The issue is they already have 2 left shot defensemen. They have Quinn Hughes and they have Carson Soucy. Now, if you're doing a depth chart, Soucy would probably be ahead of Zadorov just for his overall game, and he's only at $3 million. So you want to pay a guy $5 million potentially to play on your third pair? That's kind of tough. Now, look, it's hard to find guys that are as big as Zadorov, as impactful as Zadorov. We saw him score a lot of goals in the playoffs. I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one, because I think, it will be a big loss to lose Zadorov, but at the same time, like, do you want to commit that much on the back end when you need to find a winger for Pettersson? And you need to add other assets as well. So anyways, long story short, I like the move here for Hronek. It's a good, now that this is out of the way, the management can focus on free agents and figuring out that, because they have, I think, 8 UFAs that they have to sign, and that's going to be tough, and not everyone's going to be back. And we already pretty much know that Elias Lindholm's going to be gone, which is fine. You want to go make $8 million somewhere else? Be my guest. He was going to be third line center on the Canucks anyways. You don't pay a third line center $8 million. You pay someone else that. So, and that's why the Canucks are apparently in the work. Well, I should throw this report out here as well. Jake Getzel, Canucks making a heavy push. So let's see some of the news here. So Daily Faceoff, Frank Saravalli with a report here saying that Vancouver Canucks expect to make a strong play for Jake Getzel in free agency. Why is this key? Well, there's a need. Canucks have pushed the Oilers to Game 7 in round 2, but fell short in part because they couldn't find a way to engage Elias Pettersson. Putting Getzel on his wing might go a long way to solve that problem. It absolutely will. And you talk to most experts, hockey experts, when it comes to Jake Getzel, this is worth the risk, because what did I say last week and a couple weeks ago? You never want to sign guys that are close to 30 to long-term deals. This is one of the exceptions, because he's still performing at a high level. Even the trade to Carolina, he was still putting up good points, played with Crosby for a while. This will solve the Pettersson problem. Like, if Pettersson can't get going with Jake Getzel, then we got even more issues. But this is a very good way to make sure that happens. So, again, Saravalli also mentioning if the Maple Leafs trade Mitch Marner, they could be players. The Panthers, if they're not re-signing Sam Reinhart. So there will be other teams. But here's the other key thing. There's familiarity there. As Getzel played for Rick Tocchet as an assistant coach in Pittsburgh and under Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin in the Steel City, not to mention the strength and training staff. Hoping that's enough, because again, the best part about Getzel is you don't have to give up anything to get him. You can just outright sign him. So does he want to play in Canada? We'll see. Does he want to play? I mean, the thing with Getzel too that he should probably realize is he's in a good situation. You know, you're with it, like I said, you're with a familiar coaching staff. You have Pettersson. You have this really good core that made it to Game 7 against the Oilers. That seems kind of tempting there. So, you know, cap gymnastics, in order to make the reality, they'll need to say goodbye to Elias Lindholm, which I think everyone knows already. Likely also Dakota Joshua, and dump Ilya Mikheyev in a trade. The Mikheyev thing, I don't know if they're going to be able to trade him because he's not looking so good, and he's got 2 more years left on his deal. And then he says they need to find and make money work on with Filip Hronek. Well, they've already done that. I think Zadorov's probably gone, and they're going to keep Myers. In fact, actually on my sportsbook yesterday, they had Tyler Myers, I think at like minus 150 to re-sign with the Canucks. He's going to re-sign. He's from Kelowna. He's already said he's going to take a discount. He wants to stay in Vancouver unless the Canucks are going to like totally lowball him, which I doubt they're going to do. You keep him. He's a right shot defenseman. If Myers was left shot, then he's gone. But he's right shot, so they need him. So, yeah, the projections have him at 7 at 9.3, which would be higher than JT Miller, lower than Elias Pettersson, but might be worth it there. 30 years old, you take the risk, in my opinion. Anyways, let's keep your questions coming. Not sure about NHL, but I know NFL, you can buy tickets to the draft, although it's probably sold out by now. That's true. Actually, let me Google this right now. NHL draft tickets. Let's see how much these are going for at StubHub. Event is selling fast. Round 1 is Friday at 4 p.m. Can I swing it? I'll be next door at the convention center. $70 for tickets? Sign me up. Although I get 1 ticket. How much is 1 ticket? $86 American. It's tempting. I got to be honest. That would be a good Friday night going to see the NHL draft. That would be fun. Although Canucks don't even have a first round pick because they traded Lindholm. What do you think of the Blues' new GM Alexander Steen? Oh, I think it's kind of cool. You know, I like the move that they're doing because basically, essentially, my understanding is that like, Doug Armstrong, who's their GM now, plans on like taking a step back. So he's basically like molding Steen to the position. Now, you may know better than me. I believe Steen was like an assistant GM, or he's been involved. I know he's been with the organization for a while since retiring. So I don't mind the move because it's like they're trying to put him in that mold. You know, Calgary did the same thing with Craig Conroy. He's their GM now with Tree Living gone. So I think it's a good move. I always liked Steen as a player. That was kind of a bad trade for the Leafs, right? Didn't they trade Steen for Lee Stempniak back in the day? At that price, tickets, hell yeah. Oh, I might even see if I can get a media pass too. I don't know if it's too late. Got to ask my boss. Maybe I can sneak in there as media and get some interviews. How cool would that be? So yeah, that's my thoughts on the draft. And again, looking at free agency. Let's see if there's any other. Let's go to Daily Faceoff like we did last time, and we'll kind of check out some of the stories they're working on right now. Oh, holy shit! Breaking news, guys. Jacob Markstrom going to the Devils. Look at that. Look at this. I think this is the first time this has happened on this show. We got breaking news. So Devils acquired Jacob Markstrom from the Flames. That's huge. They've needed a goaltender for a long time. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so what did they trade to get him? General manager Tom Fitzgerald admitted that he wanted to go big fish hunting. They acquired Jacob Markstrom from the Calgary. Well, first off, we knew that Markstrom was going to leave. He was pissed off about the way that he was in trade rumors, and then nothing happened. And yeah, that's going to make the Devils a good team. That's like, dare I say, whoever's in the chat here, Devils haven't had a good goaltender since Brodeur, basically. And when did Brodeur retire? It was like years, like a long time ago. They had Corey Schneider, they had Mackenzie Blackwood. Who else did they have in between there? They had like a couple other like no-name guys. This is big for them. I think Markstrom, I mean, if you look at his numbers from last year, he actually played very well. Like if he had played more games or Calgary was better, he probably would have been in consideration for the Vezina. This is a good move for New Jersey. I mean, this move right here, I'll just say it right now, probably puts the Devils in the playoffs again. Because that was a big issue with them. They didn't have good goaltending. They had a few, obviously they had injuries to Hughes and everything else. So what did they get for him? So yeah, it'll be Markstrom and Jake Allen. That's good. They've been in contact for months. He has 2 seasons left. That's $6 million. Yeah, Dan Vladar and Dustin Wolf not getting it done. Or sorry, they are getting it done. Sorry, that's why they're promoting them. Okay, who did they get for him? Let's figure out exactly what it is. Okay, we don't know what it's for. Would they give up their first round pick? Is that too much? I would think that you don't retain any salary, or I would only give up the first round pick if Flames are retaining salary on the deal. So, yeah, I don't know. Doesn't say what it was for, but that's big for the Devils. Huge move for them. You're saying I wanted him in Carolina. I think Carolina's set with Anderson. Also, news in Carolina as well. Eric Tulsky, now the GM. They promoted him. I think we kind of knew that was going to happen. That guy's been the brains behind the Carolina organization for a while. So, I think the Hurricanes will go out and get a goaltender, not someone like him, though. They'll probably get another veteran or something. I could maybe see them getting a Casey DeSmith or something, to be honest. Come on, goalie of the future, Kevin Weeks. Was with the Devils? Was he? When did he play for the Devils? I don't remember that. Was that after Brodeur? Let me. Okay, when did Martin Brodeur retire? He retired in 2015. Okay, so let's look at the Devils teams since then. Let's look at these teams since 2015. And remember, Brodeur got traded to the Blues. I remember that. So since 2015, who have been their goaltenders? Let's have a brief look at some of the players that have played for the Devils in net. Love this site, by the way. You can check out. Okay, so their goalies were Scott Wedgwood, Corey Schneider. Like I said, Jan Denis played for them as well. Keith Kincaid. What's he up to these days, Keith Kincaid? He is playing for the Chicago Wolves. Yeah, hasn't been able to make it back to the NHL. Look at that. Luke Gadzik playing for the Devils. Missed that. Eddie Lack apparently played for the Devils. I don't remember that. Mackenzie Blackwood. Keith Kincaid. Yeah, there we go. First next year, and Kevin Bahal. I don't know who Kevin Bahal is. Yeah, I don't think Kevin Weeks played for the Devils after Brodeur left. Did he? I'm not seeing him here. When did Kevin here? Kevin Weeks. Hockey. Oh, he did. 08, 09. Okay, so that was way earlier than when Brodeur left. I think he was a backup goalie of the future, according to Brian Burke. So first next year. Oh, so first next year. So not their first this year then? So not that, because New Jersey has, I think, 10th or something as their pick. Anderson can kick rocks. Maybe he's good, and I don't know it because I'm a casual, but I haven't seen it through. Yeah, I don't think Anderson's the answer either. I just think that Carolina is very careful about how much they commit to certain players and stuff. So, but no, I don't think they were ever. They might still. There's a couple other goalies that are available. There's Allmark from Boston, right? Maybe they make a play for him. The Kings need a goalie. There's a lot of teams that need some goaltending, so we'll have to check it out. Let's look at some more NHL news, everyone. Keep your questions coming. Just a bunch of Oilers stuff. Couture trade rumors false, says GM. San Jose Sharks have no plan to trade Logan Couture this season, Mike Greer said on Monday. Well, I don't know who's going to take that contract anyways. He's been playing. Didn't he only play 20 games last year, or even less than that? Stuff is out there. I'm looking to trade Logan Couture. That's absolutely false. If you look at us bringing in young players, we have a young team. I wouldn't think he's going to get traded. Yeah, the Sharks are a good young team. I don't know if they'll make a step forward this year, but they're certainly a team to watch. I think we're getting more info on the Jacob Markstrom thing, so let's check that out. I want to see if they had to retain salary or not. 23-year-old D-man Kevin Ball. The Flames have got a lot of picks now. It's smart. Flames had reportedly received interest in Markstrom from a couple of clubs, including the Ottawa Senators. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about retaining salary here. Good for Vancouver, because that's the East, right? He's getting traded to the East. Doesn't affect Vancouver at all. Yeah, the 34-year-old netminder, just to look at Markstrom's stats again, just so you guys are clear on how good he is. Markstrom, 23, 23, and 2. Considering how bad the Flames were last year and the year before, that's a decent record. 905 save percentage. Posted a career best .922 in 21-22 before dipping a bit. Flames' unwillingness to retain salary. So it sounds like the Flames didn't have to retain salary here, which I guess, the Devils have some cap space, so should be interesting. Yeah, good for the Devils. I like watching the Devils. They're a fun team. It's a big boost for them. So they've got like a couple good defensemen now. They got like Dougie Hamilton and Marino. They got obviously some great forwards in Jack Hughes and who else is? I mean, let's look at the Devils right now. The team they got. It's pretty solid. Jesper Bratt, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Timo Meier. I mean, look at this lineup. Some of these guys are gone, but this is 23, 24. We want to find 23, 24. Forgot Nico Dawes they had as a goalie too. Yeah, they just neglected their goaltending for too long, and it'll be interesting. And obviously a new coach this year too. They got Sheldon Keefe from Toronto, so that'll be interesting. See how he does there. So yeah, I think a good trade for both. The Flames are basically doing a rebuild, so we'll see how that goes. It can go well for some teams. Like if you look at Florida did a proper rebuild to a certain extent. Actually, not really. They didn't really do a rebuild. They kind of just made some savvy moves that have sort of put them in a good spot here. Also forgot about Nemec on the Devils as well. Another good defensive prospect. Yeah, Devils are going to be good in a couple of years. They are, like I said, this is a really good move for them. I hope the Kings don't get a goalie. I hope they continue to stick with veteran guys and not pony up. We'll see if they do anything with Pierre-Luc Dubois. But that's going to certainly be interesting. Okay, let's get back to Daily Face-Off. What are some other things? Kyle McLaren signed to a 3-year contract for the Islanders. Don't know much about him if I'm being honest. Let's go through the news together, everyone. Maybe we'll do some Puckdoku today. We haven't done that in a while either. Keep the questions coming, everyone. Spent 23-24 with AHL. Oh, so he's a prospect, 25-year-old guy. Yeah, I mentioned the Canucks going after Jake Getzel. Oh, this kind of a little bit of news here from my neck of the woods. Scott Gomez, former New Jersey Devil, former New York Ranger, can be coaching the Surrey Eagles of the BCHL. So Surrey's very close to where I live. And I believe Gomez played his minor hockey in British Columbia as well. So that's, I think, the connection of him living here. He's from Anchorage, Alaska. He played with the South Surrey Eagles. Oh, so he played with them back in the day. That's interesting. That's why. Okay. I had no idea Scott Gomez played for the Ottawa Senators at the end of his career. Man, talk about being under the loop. Played for the Canadiens, the Rangers, the Devils. I always remember him on the Devils. Won a cup with them. Couple of years too. So that's some other news that's going on. What team would you say is in the worst situation in the league? It's a good question. I always think that like worst situation possible. Well, it's not Chicago because they have they're getting the number 2 overall pick and they have Connor Bedard. It's not San Jose. Although San Jose, I mean, how much cap room does San Jose have? They have a lot, so. San Jose has $36 million in cap space. I think they'll be fine. One team that comes to mind is the Minnesota Wild because they have those buyouts of Parise and Ryan Suter. So I don't think they have a ton of space. And I think they're kind of handcuffed. Yeah, look at this. $6 million in cap space. Granted, they have how many players signed? They have 19 players signed, so they only need to sign a bit more. But, I mean, this is a team that didn't make the playoffs. And, they don't, they can't really add anyone. Look at these buyouts. Yeah, so this coming season, they're really screwed. This coming season, they owe $7 million on 2 players that aren't even going to play for them. Of dead cap. So the years after will be easier. But man, that's going to like if you're a Minnesota Wild fan, you can't feel too good about the season. I think they're in one of the worst positions. You guys let me know in the chat. Who do you think is in a bad spot? I'm just trying to think of some other teams that like have cap issues and then also like aren't in the playoff picture. Like the Philadelphia Flyers, I think have some cap space. Yeah, same thing. They have like no cap space and how many players they have to sign. They, again, have most of their players signed, but I mean, if you look at it here, they don't like, and I think they have a couple buyouts too. Cal Peterson is $3.8 million on the cap. Kevin Hayes, Anthony Giangelo, Brizgalov. So yeah, they got a lot. They did retain on Markstrom. He's only $4 million. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Flames then retained $2 million, right? Because he was $6 million on the year. So, I mean, you're getting a starting goalie at $4 million. That's a steal, right? That's really good. So, that's interesting. I think the Wild are headed for top 3 pick. I don't know about top 3 pick. I mean, they're not that bad. Like, I think San Jose's still going to be bad this year. I think Chicago, unless they add some pieces, I think they're going to be still pretty bad. Let's look at the standings from last year. Actually, we can NHL standings. Who are some teams that didn't make the playoffs that may be in some trouble? Let's do the overall standings. I hate the conference. There we go. No, I want here. Let me get the actual NHL standings here. Here, NHL standings, NHL.com. NHL standings. There we go. I like the overall standings, the league. There you go. Okay, so conference. There we go. Okay, so if we look at the Eastern Conference, these are some teams that missed the playoffs. Blue Jackets. I feel like the Blue Jackets have cap space, right? Although they have some bad contracts too. So if you look at the Blue Jackets, they have... Oh, they got lots of cap space. Never mind. Okay, so they're fine. Canadians, I believe, have a lot of cap space and some picks too. I might as well just search for it in here. It's easier. And apparently I can't spell Montreal Canadiens right. You guys are seeing my terrible spelling on display. So the Habs have $9 million in cap space, which is not a ton. How many players do they have signed, though? They have 19 players signed. So yeah, we'll see if they make any moves here. I know they're trying to get rid of David Savard. He's 33, making 3.5, not really getting his worth. So yeah, we'll see what they can do. Who are some other teams on the bottom? Ottawa's got lots of cap space. So those are some teams. And then on the Western Conference, San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim, I believe, has cap space. I know they're trying to move on from Trevor Zegras. Yeah, they got $33 million in cap space. So I think if you're in the West, you're probably okay. All these teams have cap space. Even what are the Flames at right now with moving over from Markstrom? Oh yeah, they got $23 million in cap space, but and 19 players. They're in a great spot. And they only got still 1 year left on like Kuzmenko and some of those guys as well. I think Washington is in the worst spot. Them making the playoffs hurt. What is Washington's cap situation? Let's go have a look. And they got Ovechkin, who's, I know he's still scoring, but he's not really what he used to be. Oh, look at this. $6 million in cap space. 17 players signed. Yeah, they're in a bad spot. They're like Minnesota a bit. Not a ton as well. I don't mean cap space just future-wise. Well, I would say cap space as well. Like they only have $6 million in cap space, 17 players signed, and this is a team that made the playoffs but did not look so good. Washington definitely overachieved. That they did. Everyone's kind of bummed that it wasn't Pittsburgh. So, yeah, Flames retaining 30% of the salary. So there we go. Oh, it looks like Philip Hronik's talking to the media right now. This is courtesy of Randeep Janda, who does the play-by-play for the Canucks on the radio side of things. Good guy. Getting some Philip Hronik quotes here. He says, on the challenge of Patrick Allvin to be even better moving forward, I can feel the trust from Jim, Patrick, and the coaching staff. It motivates me. I hope so. He didn't look so good second half of the season. On Quinn Hughes, pair versus driving his own pair, that's a question for the coaches. I have no problem either way. What else? I think that's it. Not great quotes. He doesn't do much media, and he's been a little bit grumpy for the media. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to do media for 8 more years. It's going to be fun. Not very good with the media. So, by the way, look at Panthers. Sergei Bobrovsky since the third period of Game 3, 7.568% is 6.43. Yikes! This is what I mean. Like, when your goaltending goes to crap, it really does throw things off, like in a lot of different ways. So, what else you guys want to talk about here? We got lots of time. We got like 30 minutes left. Do you guys want to play Puckdoku? I'm going to try and let's play Puckdoku. I haven't played it in months. We'll see how good my memory is. Okay, so no cheating. Let me try and do this. Okay, let's have some fun with Puckdoku. You guys can help me out if you want. How about that? And then we'll get to post your questions in the chat anyways. Okay, who played for Carolina and Detroit? Ray Whitney, I believe, played for both. Yes, Ray Whitney. Right? Ray Whitney. 2% of people got that. That's a good one. The idea with Puckdoku, so you guys remember this game. You basically have to pick a player who played for both teams. And the idea is you want to pick players that are obscure, then you get more points. So, again, 2%, that's very good. Capitals and Red Wings. Let me think. Capitals and Red Wings. Why am I drawing a blank on this one? I'm trying to go for like players in the 90s. Let's see how good my memory is. Capitals and the Red Wings. Larry Murphy, I believe, played for the Capitals and the Red Wings. Let's see if I'm right. Look at that, 2%. The memory's hot here. Memory's hot. KHL and the Wings. Pavel Datsyuk, I'm pretty sure, played in the KHL. Pavel Dat. Right? 48%, so not as much. But I don't follow the KHL, to be honest, so that was out of my wheelhouse. Okay. Montreal and Carolina. There's an obvious one that comes to mind, Eric Cole. But is there anyone else that... I mean, Kopenjemi, obviously. But you know me, I like going for obscure. I believe Mike Commodore played for both. Would that be more obscure than Eric Cole? Probably. Oh, he didn't play for them. Why did I think he played for Montreal? Maybe he didn't. Okay, then we're going to go with Eric Cole then. Eric Cole's going to be our answer. Okay, 6%. Not bad. Should have just stuck with him. Capitals and the Canadiens. Hold on. We got some questions here while we're doing this. If the Oilers win Game 6, how likely is it that Florida wins Game 7? I don't know. It depends how they win. If they blow them out again, if they get, Florida keeps letting in these bad goals and Bobrovsky melts down again, then I'd say it's very likely that the Oilers win. If Florida plays well and they lose, but maybe it's like an overtime goal, then it's different. Very likely coming from a Cats fan. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Anyways, keep your questions coming, everyone. We're just playing Puckdoku in the meantime until you guys come up with some better questions, or not better questions, just any questions. That works. Okay, who played for the Capitals and the Montreal Canadiens? Who comes to mind? I believe Cristobal Huet played for them. I just have to look up the spelling of that. Cristobal Huet. %. There you go. Again, we're on a roll here today, guys. Who played for the Montreal Canadiens in the KHL? What's the guy's name? Nashville Predators draft pick, played like a season for the Canadiens. Is it Radulov? Alexander Radulov. Believe he played in the K. Could be wrong about that, but we'll see. Or Galchenyuk as well. 14% for Radulov. Okay. Calgary and Carolina. There's a number that come to mind. Dougie Hamilton. Michael Furland. Who else was part of that Furland trade? Elias Lindholm, right? Martin Jelena played for... You know what? We're going to go with Martin Jelena. We'll see how many people got him. It's an easy one. Bet a lot of people got him, but we'll see. 3%. Good. We're on the good track here. I'm on a roll today. Washington Capitals and Calgary Flames. Let's go through the memory bank here. No, I don't think he played for the Capitals. I was thinking of Yuri Hudler. That was Red Wings he played for. I'm drawing a blank here. Washington and Calgary. Anyone got any suggestions here for Washington and Calgary? Someone that played for both. Maybe like in the 90s. Is there any I'm trying to think of any veterans that played for them. Completely drawn a blank here, guys. Maybe we could skip that and go to a Calgary Flames player who played in the KHL. It would have to be some Russian player who didn't stick around too long. Sven Berchi comes to mind, but I don't know if Sven actually played any games for the Flames. Let me try and get back to this Capitals and Flames one. I think that's my better option here. Any goaltenders? Who played goalie for Calgary in the 90s? This is way to my knowledge range. I know. Listen, I grew up watching hockey, so I have a pretty decent memory about this. Flames and Capitals. Who played for the Flames and the Capitals? Why am I drawing a blank on this? Trying to think of some trades. Has there ever been a trade from the Capitals to the... Oh, I've got it. And he was on this show. How could I forget this? Brendan Morrison. Boom. Look at that. 1%, baby. Look at that. The memory's sharp, guys. The memory's sharp. Any hockey trivia guys out there, let's figure it out. Are we going to get one for the KHL? Let's see if... No, they're not going to let me. Cool. So there we go. Not bad. 178 uniqueness, 8 out of 9. I got that one wrong on Mike Commodore, but other than that, we're good. Yager. Oh yeah, Yager did play for the Flames. I forgot. Yager, he played for so many teams that I forgot. Didn't he also play for the Flyers too, didn't he? If Edmonton wins the cup, will your opinion on Skinner change? He's been solid. No, it won't. He has been solid, but he's also had some bad games in the lead up to this. You can still have that. There's still goalies that aren't that great that win the cup. Right? I don't think Skinner's the reason they're winning. He's doing enough to, hold the fort down. And maybe that makes me sound biased or a hater or whatever. But Aiden Hill, I don't think is a good goalie either. And he won a cup with Vegas last year. Right? So it's no different. Chris Osgood won many a cups for the Detroit Red Wings. He wasn't a good goalie, in my opinion. I don't think Grant Fuhr was a good goaltender back in the day. I play these for NFL, more of my knowledge. There we go. I think Barkov is hurt. Oh, he absolutely is hurt. By the way, Joe, glad to have you back here. We enjoyed your questions last week. So if you got any more bangers here, Joe, would love to hear them. Let's see what else you guys got on your mind right now. Got about 15 minutes left. Let's look at some other free agents NHL rumors. Let's see. Here we go. The Hockey Writers. 10 free agents who could be bargains in 2024. Let's go through this list. Shout out to the Hockey Writers. Jason Zucker. So I know the Canucks were interested in Zucker at the trade deadline. They couldn't make it work because of cap stuff. If they swing and a miss on Jake Getzel, they may circle to a cheaper option like Jason Zucker, although I don't think the plan would be him playing with Pettersson. I just think they need more offense anyways. Daniel Sprong played for the Red Wings. 43 points in 76 games. Not bad. Mike Riley. New York Islanders gave him a new life after claiming him off waivers. Could be one, too. James Van Riemsdyk. Jeez. Yeah, get him on a cheap deal. Victor Arvidsson. He was a player that actually played well prior to injuries. Jordan Martinook. Not bad. Teddy Bluger. I like Bluger. I hope he comes back, actually. William Carrier. David Perron. Perron, the only thing with Perron is he's old. He's 36. I would avoid that. Kulikov. Yeah, be interesting. Who are some free agents that you were looking at? And also keep an eye on Martin Necas. Obviously, he wants out of Carolina, and they'll get like a good haul back in for him. Warren Fogle, Adam Henrique, Connor Brown, Corey Perry, Vinny D, and Jack Campbell will be available from the Oilers. Who's going to take Jack Campbell, though, at that cap hit? I think Campbell might get bought out. I don't think anyone can trade for him. What's Campbell's cap hit right now? Connor Brown may get some looks as well, but like he didn't play that well this season. Wasn't he like a healthy scratch this year too? So Oilers got 10 million in cap. Yeah, Desharnais, Troy Stetcher. Yeah, Campbell's at 5 million. Unless the Oilers retain salary, but like no one's going to pay Jack Campbell 5 million. Jeff Skinner would be cheap, but apparently he wants to play close to home. Skinner's from Ontario. So yeah. What's Skinner's contract looking like these days? I think he's at like 8 million, isn't he? His deal's up soon. It has to be, right? Jeff Skinner. Oh, Jesus. 9 million until 26, 27. Good luck with that. And he's 32. Yeah. It's not going to look so good. Adam Henrique, valuable free agent. I agree. Campbell will get bought out, correct. Yeah, I just don't think anyone's going to trade for Campbell. Like Oilers fans are dreaming if that's going to happen. Yeah, so that is my thoughts on that. Just like Mikheyev. Canucks fans want Mikheyev traded. Who's going to take him? He's got a bad groin. Has not produced well. He's getting bought out. Campbell, yes, I would imagine he will. And then what team does he end up on? Campbell, if I was Campbell, I'd just want to go to like a team that doesn't give a shit about me. Like go to like San Jose or something, play a backup there. Yeah, as far as the Oilers free agents, Fogle, I don't know if he'll be back. Henrique, we'll see. Brown, again, like not like a huge asset. Corey Perry's a veteran. He's been on so many different teams. I don't know what he'll decide to do. Vinny Desharnais, I think he's been okay. So we will see. We will see. No, I mean, Skinner is being bought out. They're not going to buy out Skinner. If he wins, especially even if they lose the series, they're not going to buy Stuart. Oh, you're saying, sorry. Thought you meant Stuart Skinner. Have to be clear on that. I was like, they're not going to buy out Stuart Skinner. He's their starting goalie. Jeff Skinner will be bought out. I don't know the math on this, but if they were to buy out Skinner, like what would the penalty be? Like how much cap would they have on that? I guess they could do it, but maybe Skinner gets bought out and then he goes to the Leafs on like a cheap contract. Like you mentioned, he wants to play close to home. I believe Skinner is from Toronto, right? Where's Jeff Skinner from? He is from Toronto. Yeah. Could be a good move for him there. $23 million in cap space. They have 12 players signed though. Geez. So that cap space is going to go pretty quick. That's like the same cap space that the Canucks have. And the Canucks have, I think, more players signed, but could be wrong. Yeah, Canucks have 16 million and they have 16 players signed. So a little bit more. So they're probably in the same boat as the Sabres. So nice to see Hronek signed, finally. Hughes is going to get a bump here soon. He'll probably get like 10 million, so then they got to make some decisions there. We will see. We will see. What else? What else do you guys want to talk about? What else is in the news? Like I said, big trade from the Calgary Flames. Let's look at the teams at Cap Friendly. By the way, we're going to have to start using Puckpedia come July when this website's going away because the Washington Capitals bought it. Cap space. Oh, yeah, so this is probably good. Projected cap space. Yeah, the Flyers are probably in the worst spot. The Lightning don't have a lot of cap space either, and there's, what's going on with Stamkos. I haven't heard anything about Steven Stamkos. Like, it does kind of seem like he's gone, but we'll see. It's hard to believe because he's been their captain for so long. The Wild are screwed. Islanders are kind of screwed. Capitals, Rangers. Like, again, Rangers can't do a whole lot. They'd have to do some trades. Canadians, Oilers, Senators, Canucks are down here. And then you look at some of the teams, like look at this. Utah, $43 million in cap space, and they got a shit ton of picks. Imagine being Utah right now. You could just make a team from free agency. Yeah, I could see like that's the thing. Like I know Leafs fans are talking about like trying to get Zadorov, but like what cap space did they have? I guess they have a little bit. They have 18 million. So they could overpay for Zadorov if they want to, but they also got like Jake McCabe signed for another season, Morgan Riley. Why did the Capitals buy this website? I think they actually had that story on Daily Faceoff. Let's go find it. Brian McClellan on why the Capitals purchased Cap Friendly. Oh, they're not going to tell us. We actually have to like watch it. Damn. Here, let's just Google it. Why did the Capitals buy Cap Friendly? Capital believes this will give them an even bigger boost in navigating the finances of the game. The strategic move will provide the Capitals organization with the ability to digest, present, and analyze our internal and league supplied data. So it's to help them manage the cap, because obviously they're in cap hell right now. Minnesota should have bought them then, if that's the case, because they, all those buyouts never helps anyone. So, all right, guys, let's do another 5 minutes here and take off a bit early. I do have something to get to at the top of the hour. What is your guys' prediction for Game 6? Who do you think wins? I'm going Florida. I think they'll figure it out. Bobrovsky can't be this bad and just play this bad for this long. I think he finally bounces back and gets it going, and they do something. I don't know. They figure out something. I think Florida will get it done. But who knows? Next week, this time next week, we'll finally know the Cup winner, and I could look like an idiot. Again, I'm the guy that said it was going to be Dallas and New York in the finals, and it ended up being the complete opposite, so we will see. What else is going on? Yeah, look at some of this cap space. The Senators actually don't have as much cap space as I thought, only 12 million, and how many players signed? 16, so they're even worse than the Canucks. I think they're going to trade, there's rumors that Chychrun could get traded, and one of the destinations I heard was maybe Chicago. I think that was what I heard. Let me double check that. News. Oh, the Bruins are top suitors? What cap space do the Bruins have? Bruins have 21 million. And how many players do they have signed? They only have 17 players signed. So they have a bit of cap space, but they're probably going to sign Lindholm. So that'll be like 8 million off the books already. Wow, Pasternak's making 11.2. It's crazy. Although he's very good. Are there any companies in hockey that work with teams that offer advanced analytics to them? I believe there is some, yes. I was cheering for the Rangers versus Oilers final. My two favorite teams would have been fun. Yeah, poor Rangers. They can't seem to get it done. And then they're gonna have to pay Shesterkin, or not Sorokin, or yeah, Shesterkin, not Sorokin. I always get Shesterkin and Sorokin mixed up for some reason, both New York goalies. So yeah, we will see if how that's gonna look going forward. But look at all these UFAs this season. Dalton Heinen, that's the guy the Canucks might look at. He's from Vancouver. From Langley, wouldn't mind him in a Canucks uniform. Just think if they sign Elias Lindholm, they'll have two Lindholms. They have Hampus Lindholm already. Can't stand the Rangers. Why is that? Because you're a Carolina fan? I thought their series was fairly tame for the most part. Let's keep the questions coming, everyone. Let's do a couple more minutes here, then we'll take off. Again, appreciate you guys tuning into the show every week. We'll have, I think I'm going to try and go live on free agency day. That's July 1st, which is a Monday. So I think I'll go live that day as stuff's coming in. That'll be fun. We kind of did that same thing on the trade deadline day. So that'll be, oh yeah, next week, no show, guys. Forgot to mention that. I'm going to be away. So no hockey show next week. Yeah, maybe I'll do a show Monday then. Maybe I'll do a show Monday, and then we'll do a show the following Monday for free agency. That would work out well. Sorry, I got busy at work. No worries. Don't say sorry, guys. It's all good. Appreciate everyone who's tuning in here. Let's get 2 more questions, guys, and then we'll take off. How about that? Monday, Game 7. True. Yeah, good point. There's a Game 7. It will be Monday. That's a good point. Is it? Yeah. Is that how the schedule works? Because what? I thought Edmonton plays Friday, so they get a couple days off then? Here, let's go NHL schedule. That'll be easier. Oh, yeah, you're right. So it goes... Game 6 is Friday. Game 7 is Monday. Interesting. Wonder why that. I have no good reasons. They just annoy me why they're so good. 2 days travel. That's right. Okay, there you go. Good for Joe letting us know. Yeah, so then good timing on doing a show on Monday. So I'll have to look at my schedule right now. I think I can swing a show on Monday. I'll just make a note of it, guys. we'll make sure we get a show done. Yeah, I don't really have anything going on that day, so that sounds good. All right, guys, good time to end the stream here today. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, I'll try and I think we'll do the show on Monday. Just keep an eye out on the channel. I usually schedule these ahead of time. So if you guys want to take a quick look at that, we can do that on Monday. And then likely I'll go live again the following Monday just for free agency. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm going to be watching. I usually take the day off when it's free agency anyways. Like I'm that guy that every hour refresh. I love NHL free agency. Probably one of my favorite days of the year. So we'll be glued into that. Maybe I'll try and get a guest on too to talk free agency with me. We'll try and see what happens. And that's pretty much it. Okay, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Just before we go, make sure you hit that like button. Really does help out the algorithm on the channel a lot. If I missed your question, just post it in the comments. Again, we don't get a ton of comments on here, so happy to come back and answer those. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll talk to you guys on Monday next week, and have a good one.